this is going to be good. I'm looking forward to hearing all about this.
Yeah.
All right, I'm recording. So, Mr. Rice, please do tell what happened and what your aha moment was, so that we can dig into it.
Well, it's like I said, my manager Kevin Wildman always told me that you'd reach a point within this process that you'd have that aha moment, and it occurred this week. I woke up Monday morning thinking, what's going to be the next thing that's going to come my way? What can I do to fix it? What can I do to make it better? And the phone started to ring, and they were referrals, and they came from a variety of sources. A couple of them were from realtors. One of them was from a
Okay.
personal friend, and one came from BNI.
Okay.
They're not all
So
going to
tell
materialize.
me.
They're not necessarily going to
So
materialize into. Go ahead.
no, no. I apologize for interrupting. I apologize. Go ahead.
They're not all necessarily going to materialize into business today, but they will. All but one, I think, will materialize into something within
Okay.
a reasonable period of time.
Okay. So first off, when you sit back and look at all this, can you swim upstream and point to a point to a specific situation that made you realize, or what you can what, is there a point in which you can attribute the success of these referrals? Do you know if it's during the process? Did you, were you conscious of what you were saying? Did you do something over and above and just remind people? Like, what happened?
I think there's just an accumulation of the past year. It's just these are all
Okay.
people that I have regular contact with. Again, some of them are realtors, some of them are friends, some of them are my referral partners through my networking group. But it's an accumulation of consistency.
It's
Being
accumulation of
being
what? What's the C word?
consistency.
Okay, consistency. All right, so what do you
Consist,
mean by
cons,
consistentcy?
consistently speaking with them, consistently communicating with them, consistently letting them know that in this particular case, within all of these referrals, the
Yep.
consistency came from letting them know that I appreciate everything they have to offer, and I appreciate the opportunity to help them grow their business.
Great, great. So when you look at the consistency part of it, I believe that if I was to give you one piece of, like, I know what you're doing, like without even sitting there next to you, I
Yeah.
think what you're doing is, I think you're truly consistently asking and putting yourself to be of value to them, and reminding them every time that you speak to them that you count on people like them to help you grow your business. Is that fair?
That is fair.
Okay. Okay. Because I don't think people genuinely send you business or refer you unless you specifically ask them for it. At least I believe 20% of the population will do it just because that's who they are, but the other 60% that is willing to isn't going to help you unless you legitimately ask them for it or make it known that that's what your need is or your want is. Do you think any of these people, if I was to pick up the phone and ask any of these people what your business is built on, do you think any of them would respond by saying, I don't know? Or do you think they'd say, I know Bruce's business is all referred to him?
No, I think they respond that they know that my business is founded on referrals and
Okay.
the need to help other people.
Okay. Therein lies your unique selling proposition. Therein lies the secret sauce to your aha moment. You've always known what you had to do, but you finally bought into the consistency part of it. And the consistency isn't about being perfect in your dialogue. It isn't about being perfect in your tone, and it isn't being perfect in your body language. It's the consistency of it, of knowing consciously that when you're talking to people, that your brand is nothing to do with mortgages. Your brand is the latter part of that statement, which is helping people. And by helping enough people, you eventually get what you want. But as we've talked in the past, to be a giver without a request makes you probably the least successful professional out there. But when you become, or because you already are that giver, but then become that giver that makes a request, buddy, that's the recipe for success at the highest level. And you're starting to see at a very small scale not even small scale, but you're starting to see at the beginning stages that you can get business from anywhere. That's the beauty of this. If you just show up and realize that your value is to help others, you can help anybody and they literally become a potential client.
Yeah, it's been interesting in speaking with some of the guys in the office recently. So I watched a couple. One of them I talked to you about that is going to be talking to you shortly. He's been in business 15, 16 years.
Yeah,
but I'm
Dan.
watching.
Dan.
No, it's not Dan. It's Ryan.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, it's funny because I as I look at him today, I see myself 3 months ago. I really do. It's enlightening for me. I mean, he knows more mortgage he knows more about mortgages than I'll ever know.
It has nothing. Right. Go ahead.
But in terms of going to market, he is where I was 3 months ago.
This business has very little to do with mortgages.
Yeah.
Let me rephrase this. Your success has very little to do with your mortgage knowledge. It has everything to do with your ability to be clear on your why and how you do it.
Yeah.
Not what you do. That's third or fourth down the line. So Kat's on the call. She just joined. Kat, are you there? Are you live or are you still trying to log in?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you. So Bruce just shared something pretty amazing, and I know you just joined, but if you could take maybe just a couple minutes, Bruce, and just rehash what you just said and kind of bring her up to speed, I'd love for her to hear it.
All right, I'll be glad to. Hi, Kat. How you doing today?
Hey, good.
Good. No, I probably had. I didn't probably. I had the best week of my 1-year mortgage career this week.
That's awesome.
That I received 4 referrals this week. 4, and then of the 4, 2 of them came from real estate. 1 of them came from a personal friend, and 1 came from another business referral networking opportunity. So it's neat that it's coming from different pillars. But as I told Doug, when I joined this business a year ago, my manager told me, he said, you're gonna struggle. As he describes it, you're trying to get that rock to move, that boulder to take that first turn. Once it takes the first turn, then momentum takes over and things start to roll on its own to a certain extent, and that becomes that aha moment. Well, I think I had that moment this week. It's like all of a sudden, I was just amazed. I woke up Monday morning just wondering where the next thing was going to come from, and then the phone started to ring, and it was just like they were all good opportunities, really. So it was very cool that I was able to experience that. And what I think is that aha moment. It may be the turning point. But then I started talking with Doug. There was a couple newer guys in my office, newer to the office. One guy not new to the business. But as I talk to them, I see them focusing strictly on the realtors. And I started talking with them over the last week or so about the different pillars of growing their business, where my referrals are coming from. They gave me that cross-eyed look. And it was kind of fun. And all of a sudden I caught myself sounding like Doug. It's like, wow, this is great.
I started to sound like that. Hey, be careful, buddy. That's a disease that once you catch it, you can't get rid of it.
I hope so. That's kind of the recap of my week.
But there's one word that you use that makes it really relevant.
Consistency.
Thank you. That part of it, guys, and I've got to be brutally honest with you. I believe that the amount of success that you see in your business is equal to the strength of your why. And your why is not how you do things or what you do, it's why you do them. And when you tie the why into the consistency of it, that's when you start to have, like Bruce just explained, that aha moment. Because I remember that moment when my conversations were not that fluid. I remember that moment when my conversations were not that, inspirational. But I remember that I committed to the process of, 5 or 6 things in every conversation I ever had with either a client or a realtor or an affiliated relationship. I remember that moment when I committed to making sure that that was a standard operating procedure in everything that I did, and then everything else became secondary. I told you guys a long time ago I probably still am, the worst loan officer on the planet, just because I don't know mortgage knowledge as well as most of the other people. I don't follow protocol. I'm horrible at filling out a 1003, and if you ask me to fill out a 1003 and closing disclosures, I'm going to follow it up left and right. But you put me in the position to where I'm consistently in front of people, and I don't think I do anything special. I just have a process, and I stick to it, and that process lays the foundation with people like Bruce. You're starting to see people recognizing that this is who I am, this is why I do things, and that's somebody I would like to help. And that's really all you're trying to do, is to get people to remember you and want to help you because you've helped them. It doesn't come quickly. And how long have we been at this call? Maybe 4 months, 5 months?
I think 4 months.
4 months? Okay.
Yeah.
And it's not, and it just started to click. And you said something that I thought was really kind of eye-opening to me. You caught yourself sounding like me. I wonder if the role playing that we did when you guys did that presentation with me the last time we spoke, if that didn't have some sort of impact on you. I don't know if you guys went back and listened to yourselves or not. I did. And to hear you now, Bruce, say that I'm starting to sound a lot like Doug, I take that as, I mean, I'm tremendously flattered. But now what that means to me is that you can stop trying to sound like me, and you can now start trying to sound like you. Like, now that you know that you have to do this stuff, now you can start making it into your own style, and maybe you already have, but
well,
I love it.
What I meant by that, and it was definitely meant to be a compliment. It just meant that when I was outside of the realm of speaking with prospects and clients, I was in a conversation with colleagues, and I could see that they were struggling with something, and I could offer something that I had learned here that may help them move forward.
Right. See, the cool part about everything we discuss is that it's not limited just to you and I. You literally can become that person that I am to you with your realtor base, with your financial base, with your attorney base, with your CPA base, with your any business that deals in consumer relationships. And more importantly, you can become that person inside the office for Kevin. And Kat, you can become that person for your realtors in your network. It isn't limited to just mortgages. This is why we don't ever talk about loans. This is why we talk about relationships and human interaction and language and articulation. So I'm stoked, man. That honestly, I thought yesterday was the best day of the week for me, but no, today is. You just crushed it for me. That was awesome.
Makes me smile.
How about you, Kat? What's shaking on your end of the world?
I've been dealing with sick kids for the past 2 weeks, so it's been kind of a struggle. And it's just, yeah, so being the one that works from home, I'm kind of stuck. Yeah, I'm kind of stuck. So,
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I'll get some relief later this afternoon from my husband. He only works half days on Friday, so that will be good for today. But I have, I don't know, I've been getting some good leads. I've been working with a BNI group, kind of a BNI group, and I've gotten some good referrals from them as well. So that's kind of neat to start to see that trickling in. This group is really new, and we only have like 8 or 10 members right now. But I can really see that going somewhere down the line once we get even more members. So that's kind of fun.
That is cool. That is very cool. So the business, so the good leads that you're getting, tell me about them. Like, where are they originating from?
Let's see. I had a couple. Let's see, this month, couple from. Well, I had one from the guy who's in insurance business. And his name is, what's his name? Francisco. Yeah. He sent me one. This is the second one that he sent me. And then from a guy that does credit repair. So once he's fixed their credit, he's telling them to call me, so that's great. And the other one is a realtor. We got actually 2 of her clients pre-qualified already. One of them just put the contract in this week, so we're going to be closing in November, so that's awesome.
So who's Crystal Orvis? She seems like somebody that's really bought into, huh?
Yeah, that's her. That's the realtor that started this BNI group.
Got it. Okay, so Crystal's there. It's Sherry. So I'm seeing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You got 7 referrals from realtors this month. But what I'm more impressed by is that you've gotten 3 affiliated relationship referrals. And if you go back and you look at, and this is the part where the lead tracker really starts to hone in on what you're doing every day, your conversion ratio, or at least the quality of leads that you're getting, it's not as many from affiliated relationships, but you're batting almost what appears to be a 75% or 65% conversion ratio. Do you see what I'm looking at?
Yeah.
The same thing with realtors. You've gotten 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, but you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You got, so in that respect, you're only batting 20% with realtor conversions. And then you've got your personal friend, which, I mean, you're batting 100.
Yeah.
which tells me that if I'm looking for quality business and I want to get it now, I could either pound the pavement and try to get more realtors and get more leads in, and you're going to have to talk to 5 times as many people on your realtors, or talk to the people that I think relate to you well, which is your affiliated relationships. Mitch Webb, Francisco, and Antoine. Antoine, who's he?
Payton. He's a credit repair guy.
Oh, credit repair guy. And then Francisco's the financial planner. What about Mitch?
He is he used to work with me at the bank, so he's a banker.
Okay. So you've got some really good relationships established with people, which means that you've got people in your network that would love to help you as long as you continue to drip on them and connect with them. I don't think the realtor business you should steer away from, but it just means that you're going to have to talk to a hell of a whole lot more realtors to get them to refer you to quality deals. That means you're going to have to talk to, you're going to have to talk to, 8 more, you're going to have to get 8 more leads to get 1 or 2 more loans out of it.
Right.
So if you wanted to add more money, if you wanted to add a loan or 2 more to your pipeline, where do you think your time is best spent?
Talking with people that I've already connected with, my affiliate.
The people that already know you, like you, and trust you.
Exactly.
Now, I don't know how many of those are in your stable, but I would imagine that the more times that you connect with people again and again and have that genuine and very honest and vulnerable conversation, you tend to become more memorable to them. One of the earlier conversations that we talked, that I talked with some LOs about earlier this week, was a conversation about leaning. Does anybody know what the word leaning means as it relates to communication?
No.
Okay. So have you guys ever said to any of your prospects or any of your clients that you would be more than happy to meet with anybody, anytime, any place, just to be able to have a chance to work with them?
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah? Okay. What does it mean when you say, what does it mean to you when you say, I'm willing to help you out, I'm willing to meet with anybody and talk to anybody that you can throw my way?
That I'm eager.
Or desperate.
Eager, that's right.
I prefer the term eager.
Yeah. Nope. Okay. You guys are both right. But remember how we've always talked about perception, right? We always talk about how people put their own spin on things based on their experiences. So I'm going to read you the definition of leaning. Leaning is when you communicate with behavior and language as if you are lacking something in your life and your business, and you expect others to give you what you need so that you can feel better about yourself and your business. I'll say it again. Leaning is when you communicate with behavior and language as if you are lacking something in your life and your business, and you expect others to give you what you need so that you feel better about yourself and your business. When you say, I'm always available to serve anyone, it actually communicates desperation and a lack of clear boundaries, okay? Let's come from a position of strength and recognize that We aren't the right person for everybody. However, we are the right person to talk to everybody. The point of it is that when you start to identify with your value and you start identifying that you don't need to be everything to everybody, you actually become more valuable to people. You know, being conscious of your language to people when you're talking to them, and understanding that the words that you choose to use do have an impact on them, and they perceive them to be whatever they think you are to them. I'll give you an example. So one of the ways that when I talk to people and I said, you know what, I want to help you, I would love to help you with your business, I just don't know if we're a good fit, I would love to work with anybody you refer to me. When you choose to recommend my services, I'd be delighted to meet with your clients, talk to them, ask them a few questions, and then determine if I'm the right consultant for them. And if I'm not, I'll let you and them know right away. But I will also make sure that I give you my advice and direction and help them accomplish their goals and desires. See, it's okay to say that you're willing to serve people, but you have to be clear on you're not there just to serve everybody and be so eager, as Kat would say, or just so desperate, as Bruce would say. You have to come from a position of clarity that says, I'm the prize. I'm eager enough to help you, but I'm also very smart enough to understand that my reputation and the way I want my business to be built is predicated on working with the right people. And so through my consultative nature and through my negotiations and my ability to manage people's fears and expectations, I will work with them to determine if I'm the best consultant for their needs. That conversation sounds differently than the ones that you guys have had with realtors in the past. Is that correct?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Which one elevates you to being more of a consultative individual, and which one makes you more of the I just want a deal type person?
It's the idea that we need to I need to determine you know, that I am the right fit for you to bring the solutions to your client, to your referral. And you know, and again, it's funny seeing this process. It just occurred to me that when I was a realtor, it was sitting with a listing. I was a little more abrupt or blunt than I probably should have been, but you know, I kind of led the conversation that, you know, we're here to have a conversation today. We're going to interview each other. At the end of the day, we're going to agree that this is the right thing to do. It's not the right thing to do, or there's a fit or there's not a fit. And some people didn't like that so much in terms of people in my profession, but I think ultimately the clients or the prospects did like it.
Right.
And I haven't had the I guess had the stomach to pull that off yet as an LO.
Why not?
I don't know. Again, we talked about aha moments. This was another one. Just had it. I did it in other businesses. I haven't done it yet. Now it's, you know, I know I'm capable. I know I'm capable.
Right. You guys, everything we've done over the last several months is helping you kind of create this belief system inside of you that gives you the comfort and the moxie to say what you know you believe. But because the industry has really led us down a path of more transactional and more commodity based, we have a hard time trying to kind of shift people's perspective. But I'm here to tell you, Bruce, you're starting to see it, and there's several other LOs that I'm working with that are starting to see it as well. I need you just to trust that what we're talking about works. And I know it may sound foreign, or it may sound a little uncomfortable, or doesn't fit within the dialogue that you're used to having, but everything I'm teaching you is proven, not only in my business, but others. Yeah. And the reality is that the less you do it, the less you're going to feel comfortable with it. And it's one of those where, Kat, I know you work out, right? Like consistently?
Yeah.
If you take a couple months off and you go back to the gym and you try doing the same reps and the same weight that you did when you last worked out, what's going to happen on day 2 of your recovery?
I'll probably die.
Right? It's not. It's never the next day, because I know when I train legs, it's never the day after. Yep. It's the second day. Yep. I get out of bed the second day. I'm like, what in the? Oh yes, I remember doing hams. I remember. Oh my God, my legs are killing me.
Yeah.
And it hurts to even get out of bed. The truth is that, but after you get back into the rhythm of working out and doing the repetitions and you get back to your weight, the pain goes away because you've conditioned your muscles. This is kind of the same, it's not kind of, it is the same thing. You've got to let go of the fears and the anxieties that you have that sit between your ears, and trust that what I'm sharing with you is the more consistently you do it, the more comfortable you become, and the more that you become polished and more passionate about it, which just only furthers the success that you guys are having. I know, Kat, you're going, you've got a lot on your plate. Bruce Bruce may not have as much as you do on your plate, and I know it's a little bit harder for you because of the kids and working at home and so forth. But I can honestly tell you that the quicker that you make this the lifeblood of your conversations, the quicker you're going to reach that aha moment that Bruce had, and the more you're going to start realizing that, and you're getting referrals. I mean, the amount of referrals that you've gotten in October is pretty damn good considering everything you've had to put up with and every distraction you've had to work through, which gives me tremendous, tremendous hope that by the end of the year, you're going to be on track to be hitting your 3 to 4 loans a month consistently.
Mm-hmm.
Are you reaching any? Are you struggling with anything in relationship to your conversations? Do you feel like it's not clicking yet?
No, I feel good about the conversations that I have, and I use different, like, I don't know if we're going to call them scripts, but I use different approaches on different people just to kind of see which ones feel better and how they're going to sound when they come out.
Awesome.
But I feel like I do pretty well with that.
Awesome.
It's just getting in front of the right people that are willing to give you the opportunity.
Right. We deal with a lot of not right people in our industry.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's probably one of the biggest things that turned me off about realtors, is that I didn't think I wanted to spend the amount of time it was necessary to have to sift through all the pawns to get to the king and the queen.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Because there are a lot of pawns out there that project their success that aren't really successful, and that's why I love the whole I'm here to decide whether or not you're a good fit for my business. Have you guys ever tried that? Have you ever tried turning the business around onto the realtor and letting them know you're scared to even talk to them?
Yeah, it's a great approach.
So here's what happened earlier in the week. I met with a group of LOs, and they asked me, so how do you bridge that gap to help to get that realtor get out of their facade? Because a lot of agents, when they meet with you, put on this persona and put on this image that they're so much more than they really are, or they put on this persona that they're so much better than you because they're the realtor and you're the lender and you should be suckling at the teeth of their business. Do you guys believe that that is how most agents perceive us?
I think so.
Okay. I would completely agree. So they asked me, so how do you bridge that gap to get them to kind of put down that barrier so that you can really get to the humbleness of and the genuineness that they possess or they don't possess? And I said, what works really, really well is when you turn it around on them. And so I started off by saying, I think humility is what breeds humility. When you're vulnerable, it breeds vulnerability. Does everybody agree with that in human interaction?
Yes.
Yeah. So I would always start the conversation up by going, you know what, Kat and Bruce, thanks for taking the time to meet with me. You know what, I got to be completely transparent with you. I'm a little nervous and a little scared at the same time, and I'll tell you why. I've been doing this now for a little bit, and I've met with a large number of realtors, and frankly, I'm kind of disappointed. I'm disappointed that more people in our industry, both lenders and realtors, don't share the belief system that I have in relationship to building relationships and what it means to be referable. I meet with a lot of realtors who tell me all the time that they love getting referrals. And then I ask them, what do you do to be referable? And they don't really have an answer, and they kind of stumble and they say things that are very generic and very canned. And I got to be honest with you, it makes me lose hope in ever finding enough good realtors to partner up with who believe that their business is predicated on relationships and who are truly referable. because I can't afford in my business to work with people that are not referable, only because I feel like at the end of the transaction, if it's the title company, if it's the listing agent, if it's the selling agent, if it's the lender, if they don't all work in harmony, the buyer ends up and the seller end up leaving feeling with a bad taste in their mouth. And I realize that we can put in all the effort we want, and at the end, if it all falls apart, it means nothing. Or it makes it a lot harder to reestablish that connection, because they kind of lump us all into one group. Like we're the circus. Some of us are the lead clowns, some of us are the baton twirlers, but at the end of the day, they leave the circus feeling like, the show wasn't that good. And I can't afford to have that happen, because I've chosen a path that's purely based on relationships and building a referral-based practice. And so I don't know if we're going to work out or not. I just would like to kind of figure out where you guys are at, because in all fairness, I don't want to waste your time. And frankly, for me, I don't want to waste my time either, but I've heard good things about you, and I would love to find out if we might be a good fit. How does that presentation differ from some of the other ones that you guys have entered into? And does it make you more consultative? Does it make you more vulnerable? Does it hopefully reduce the facade or the anxiety or the resistance that agent's going to have while talking to you? Do you think it's going to provide you with more of a chance to discuss real topics as opposed to rates, products, terms, turn times, blah, 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 blah? I mean, all the stuff that, most agents are talking about. I'd love to hear your thoughts.
No, I think it turns, as you may have put it, it turns the table a little bit. It gives them a moment to pause and think, from the standpoint that this guy is for real, this gal is for real. Clearly, they've given consideration to who they are and what they want to be, and who they want to deal with, and who they want to deal with. Frankly, it was a very soft way to take control. I liked it.
Okay. What about you, Kat?
Yeah, I agree. I think it turns the tables on them, because they probably have the, I've just dealt with so many, they're like, oh yeah, I get calls from lenders all the time, or, I have like 20 people who are trying to get me to send them business. It changes it up. It changes the game a little bit. It makes you seem like more of a person than just another lender that's trying to get their business.
Well, it puts them on notice that you're judging them. Because going back to the leaning statement, it actually puts them in the position that they now have to start leaning on you. Because if they can't come up with the reasons that make them referable, the agents are going to go, well, because I work 24/7, I'm always available. You can shift that attention from you having to be the one that leans on to they're the ones that end up having to lean on. And then when you're conscious of what that means, you can start paying attention to the right agents to work with. I'm not saying that you make the decision that they're a good agent or a bad agent. What I'm saying is now you become the person that they start thinking of, going, if I want to partner up with a loan officer that actually has the best chance of doing a great job, I'm going to go work with the one that articulated it the best. Put that thought in practice when you're meeting with your agents, and really apply that vulnerability. If we all agree that vulnerability begets vulnerability, then the more that you're opening up to yourself and really putting them on notice, going, I'm afraid. I've been disappointed because I have something. Well, I guess it would be like I've got front row tickets to the Super Bowl, and I can't get anybody to want to take them because they don't want to deal with crowds. You've got front row tickets to the best event in the history of business, and you're disappointed that nobody seems to want to care. And the reality is that most agents in our business, over 95% of them, do 5% of the business, and 5% of the agents do 95% of the business. So most of the time when you're talking to realtors, the one that you're talking to is looking for somebody to help them with their business, to become more valuable, to become more referable. They all want it, they all speak it, but very few people know how to live it. You guys are the goose that lays the golden egg, because not only do you speak it, not only do you live it, but you've built a process around it. And you can articulate that to the client, which then in turn amplifies the relationship between the realtor and the borrower. And that's really what you're after. And when you get into that vulnerable state and you can really look at an agent and go, listen, in your head you're like, frankly, frankly, I think I'm wasting my time even talking to you right now, but we're going to give it a shot and see how it goes. That's the mindset that you have. But when you start talking from a place of, I want to work with some good agents, I just don't know if you're it, but let's talk a little bit and see what makes you referable. What are the 3 things that differentiate you from any other agent in your neighborhood, or what makes you different than a for sale by owner package or a discount broker shop down the street? What makes you better than the agent that's 2 doors down from you in your own office? And your response is everything we've talked about over the last several months. I have found that communication is the #1 reason buyers and sellers and realtors have a hard time getting through the process. Setting proper expectations. Communication falls into 3 categories. Expectations. I mean, everything that we talk about in our calls all kind of gets balled together when you hit that aha moment and you realize that you've got an arsenal of information and words and styles that literally make you surgical when you meet with realtors, because these agents literally don't have a clue what's about to happen when they start talking to you. And that's the beauty of it. They come in expecting you to be one thing and they leave going, wow, I was impressed. The beauty of the fact that our industry sucks at such a large level with human interaction is that it makes it so easy for you to step over that bar of mediocrity and show up looking larger than life, as long as you're consistent and as long as you're out there actively communicating that to as many people as you can. I don't know. That's kind of what my thought was all week.
Good stuff.
Kat, did I make you go to sleep?
No. I'm over here nodding. Not nodding off, but I'm agreeing with you.
Yeah, you're going to say nodding. I'm like, oh, great. I did really put her to sleep.
That's great. No, I'm with you.
What are you hearing me say, Kat? I'm asking you this question because you seem more reserved today than normal, so I'm going to poke you until you get fired up.
Yeah, I think that this approach is definitely something that I need to do, because I feel like I probably have been that, the desperate one when I'm meeting with them, thinking that I'm showing them like vulnerability, but I really need to turn it around and let them know that I am the one that, the golden egg, that they need to be thinking about me first.
Right. And obviously you're not coming across as being the arrogant golden egg. That's not who you are. Mm-hmm. You just have to believe that I am a relationship amplifier. There is no other lender on the planet that's going to care and cater to the people that you refer to me better than, there's no one better. I don't profess to be the best loan officer for every client you send me, but I am the best loan officer to help amplify your relationship with them, because I realize how hard it is to get a referral or to get a transaction, and I literally treat it with kid gloves. I don't treat it like kid gloves, like this is the best thing ever and I'm going to smother it to death. It's, I'm going to do what is an absolute best interest of the client, because whether I get the deal or not, they're going to come back to you and say, you're right, Kat was the best. Thank you so much. So I'll give you a scenario that happened with another loan officer yesterday, which was kind of funny. So this guy Adam gets a referral from I think he said from a friend, and comes to find out that the guy wants to do a manufactured house. Well, he wants to buy a manufactured house for like 15 grand. I'm like, oh, he's like, this sucks. I said, I get it. So he goes, but to your point, I helped him out. I gave him the name of a couple different local banks who I knew did that stuff, put him in the right direction, actually put him in touch with one of the banks specifically, and said, have at it. And I said, and? He goes, what do you mean, and? I go, and? He goes, that was it. I go, so you did nothing more after you helped that guy out? He's like, no. but I'm feeling like I should have. And I said, yeah. So I'm going to ask you guys the same question. What should have been Adam's response after the gentleman said thank you for helping him out? You go first.
Ask him, if you have anybody else that you know of that's interested in buying a home or refinancing. I would love to be able to help any of your friends and family if I can.
Great. That's a good one. What about you, Bruce?
I am so pleased that you're happy with the work I was able to do for you and help you achieve your goal. Do you know anybody else that I may be able to help in a similar way? Or in the same way?
Yep. So you guys are missing one valuable piece to this, and that is connecting the triangle of trust.
Yeah.
You have to honor the referral source. You have to make sure that at the very least that is your number one request, because that's a guarantee. The other one is a secondary request, but the number one request is, you know what, thanks for saying something, but what's really important to me is that you go back to the person who referred you and they know I did right by you. That's the only thing I really care about. The next thing I care about is, you know what, I'm a great source of information when it comes to helping people buy homes. Obviously, I can't do loans for everybody, but I would love to help out anybody else in your life that you know that's contemplating doing something in relationship to a financing. Now, I can't do manufactured homes, or I can, but they have to be more expensive. So I don't know if you know of anybody that you care about who's either thinking about, getting into a manufactured home or is just generally looking for some information. I'd love to talk to them. See, in the beginning of your business, you have to ask for as many people's you have to ask for as many people to talk to as you possibly can, because you're in the stage of expanding your brand. Like Bruce has felt it this week. When you expand your brand big enough, 4 referrals a week becomes normal. 8 referrals a week becomes normal. And it doesn't matter where it comes from, but the more people you help out, the more the likelihood is that you're going to be getting business from other people, because it just becomes the law of averages. So what Adam needed to do was, hey, thank you for noticing. Please go back to the referral source, and then please also, don't forget about me or keep me a secret to the people you care about. And he's like, oh, damn it. God, I didn't even think of it. I'm like, therein lies the biggest problem. What Bruce said in the beginning, consistency. You've got to realize that the moment the word thank you or an appreciative statement comes out, you've got to jump to that I'm an originator person. Everything else that you do, you're a loan officer. The moment that person shifts to an appreciative statement, you put your originator hat on, and those are the 2 key statements you have to make. Absolutely 90% of the time. You have to make sure they go back and acknowledge the referral source, because that's a guarantee, and then you have to make sure they know that you're counting on them to go out there and tell other people they care about you. That's it. That's it. It's not salesy. It's just a very value-based, I'm here to help you, but remember what we said a couple weeks back. If you're a giver with no request, you are highly unsuccessful. If you are a giver with a request, you are tremendously successful. Not average, you are tremendously successful. Bam. That's my soapbox. Oh. All right, guys. You guys got anything else?
No, that's a lot to chew on this week.
All right. You guys still like these calls? Are you guys still having fun with them? I mean, are they valuable enough that you guys? I mean, I know you guys show up and I appreciate it, but sometimes I wonder if what I say is it just becomes too repetitive.
No, I just wish that I was one of those people who was able to pick it up like right away. But for me, sometimes I have to hear things a few times before it, before it clicks. And I was like, oh yeah, that's what I'm supposed to be doing.
Right.
That's terrible.
It took me almost 4 years to finally get it. When I got in the business in '96, it wasn't until about 2000 that I finally hit that moment of, oh my God, I'm in it. I was 20, I think I was 20, 95, so 96, so I was probably 25, 26 or 27 at the time. Call it naive, call it being cocky, whatever you want to call it. I was somebody's grunt for those 4 years, and then it finally clicked with me, and all that stuff kind of came together. So wherever you're at, you guys are light years ahead of where I was. But that moment when you make the conscious decision to make sure that you include the 4 or 5 basic points, you know. The whole presentation is really broken down into 4 or 5 basic points. And if you guys want to talk about that next week, we can. But you guys know what they are. It's just pulling them together and using them in a style and a way that creates the message before you even get into the meat of the relationship.
Excellent.
Mm-hmm.
Pat, I will see you next week. Bruce, I will see you in
That's awesome.
Chicago. Yep, I'm looking forward to, Kat, I'm really actually looking forward to having dinner with you. I think it's going to be
Yeah.
I'm really anxious to sit down and hang out with you.
Actually, Doug,
Yeah,
you won't see me. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh. No, go ahead.
No, I was saying, you won't see me in Chicago. I've got a conflict that week and weekend, so I will not be there.
Oh, the hell you do? What do you got that's more important than our conference? And actually, Kat thinks now Kat thinks that you're kind of embarrassed. So why are you not coming? What's the matter?
Oh, no, it's just, like I say, you and I can talk offline about that, but no, I'm not able to be there.
Got it. I respect that. I was kind of giving you a little bit of grief, buddy. Sorry about
I know it. That's all right.
All right, guys. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the time with your family and friends, and don't keep me a secret. See you guys.
Take care.
See you guys. All right. Bye-bye.